Hey guys, how are you doing? This is our Unit 2 seminar. This seminar, this topic, well, Unit 2, the topic for Unit 2 is not exactly a cybersecurity technical subject. That's not our goal here. The goal of this second unit in IT 104 is to talk about cybersecurity jobs and certifications or certification exams. Okay, the whole idea here is since you are focusing on cybersecurity, you have to understand the demands coming from industry, right? And obviously, the best way to identify the demands coming from industry is number one, identifying the cybersecurity jobs or the cybersecurity roles that are in demand coming from industry, right? Now, what are the specific skill sets, right? Or the specific knowledge that you have to acquire in order to fill a specific position, right? To work in a specific role. That is something that you can identify by looking at the certifications that are out there. Okay. So first of all, in case you don't know, a certification is nothing more than an organization or a company, okay, that they create an exam, and it can be a fully theoretical written exam, or there are some certifications there that they actually deploy. That there is actually a lab that you have to solve problems, technically solve problems. So it's a practical exam that will identify if you have the specific skill set, right, to fill a specific role. So for example, let's say that you want to become an IT auditor, right? Well, we're going to see that there is actually a few certifications that will identify if you have the knowledge that is required by an IT auditor, okay? The CISA exam, for example, right? That is an exam that was created in order to verify if you have the knowledge that an IT auditor should have, okay? So again, that's why it's important to not only understand the cybersecurity jobs that are out there, but also the certifications that you can use as a reference to study and to increase your knowledge, okay, to enhance your knowledge for that specific field or role that you want to work with. Now, obviously, there are many roles out there that the employer they actually require those specific or a specific certification in order to hire a specific professional. So what that means is, for example, a very common certification nowadays is the CISA certification. Okay, just to name one, just to list one. That is if you want to work as an auditor, the CISA certification is a certification that most likely will be required by your employer. Okay, so here is, like I said, the first thing that we need to understand are the cybersecurity jobs that are out there. And as you can see, we have here two slides listing 19 or 20, I think 20 cybersecurity jobs. Okay. Now, obviously, these are not the only cybersecurity jobs that are out there. Okay. But these are probably the most common ones that you find out there. Okay. Now, these cybersecurity jobs, you can actually create some, let's say, some clusters. You can clusterize them, and then you would have maybe 4 or 5 different clusters or 4 or 5 different groups. Okay. But again, these are very common roles. So I am going to kind of group them according to the similarities. Okay, so first of all, when you talk about a cybersecurity professional or an information security professional that is focusing more on information security and cybersecurity as a field per se, and not a specific field under the cybersecurity or information security umbrella. Okay, you have those kind of specific specialists. So, for example, security analyst, security engineer, security architect, and security consultant. Obviously, these guys, they have to have a thorough understanding and at the same time a broad understanding of information and cybersecurity. So that means that, for example, a security analyst most likely, right, is not a penetration tester. Okay, that professional, that specialist is not capable of performing a penetration test, but he or she understands how penetration testing works when it's necessary, the same way that it also understands forensic analysis, it understands cryptanalysis. Again, is this professional, is the security analyst capable of performing a crypto analysis? Well, most likely that's not the case, but they understand how it works. Okay? The Chief Information Security Officer, that is similar to the CEO of the IT division. Okay? And not only the IT division, but the IT environment of a corporate company. Okay? This is the highest level, right, of a IT role that you can find in a company. This is the person that is responsible of guaranteeing that the IT department is aligned with the governance, with the vision, right, and the mission of the company. Then you start to look at the more technical, specifically technical roles, such as a penetration tester, also known as an ethical hacker. That professional is responsible for testing if and identifying if the environment, the network, the company has vulnerability. Okay, an incident responder, again, also very technical, right? But an incident responder is someone that can plan how the company or the organization should respond when an incident occurs. Observe that the role of a penetration tester and an incident responder are different. A forensic analyst, also differently from an incident responder. A forensic analyst is his concern or her concern is not to identify or plan how to respond to an incident, but to backtrack when something is identified. Let's say a malware, right? A malware infected the network, and now the forensic analyst needs to be able to perform a forensic analysis to understand what is the impact, okay, and what were the steps and what files were extracted, what files were accessed. So the goal of this professional is to, again, to backtrack the steps taken by the attacker. Okay. A cryptographer or cryptanalyst is someone that understands crypto. This professional should understand how crypto, generally speaking, okay, how cryptography works, both in order to apply it and to understand even how to reverse engineer a crypto system. A malware analyst is, and it can be, some people, they misunderstand the differences, or they use malware analyst and forensic analyst interchangeably. That is not the case. Okay, a malware analyst is someone that is capable of understanding how a malware works, not necessarily performing a forensic analysis of a malware. Although a malware analyst usually is capable of performing a forensic analysis of a malware specifically, okay? That is not necessarily a requirement. A vulnerability analyst is someone that is capable of understanding a vulnerability, analyzing a vulnerability. A threat intelligence analyst is very similar to a vulnerability analyst. The difference is it's a threat intelligence analyst performs in a more high level, okay? It's not so low level, so technical as a vulnerability analyst. The threat intelligence analyst is capable and should be capable of identifying situations, okay, situations, moments, or behaviors that could lead to a threat. This threat is not necessarily associated with a vulnerability, okay? A network security analyst is someone that is very, very technical. The goal of this person is to identify vulnerabilities and possible vulnerabilities in a network system, and then applying the proper security features in order to avoid and mitigate those vulnerabilities. Similarly, we have an application security engineer, similar to the network security engineer, but this person, this profession, this specialist focuses on the security of applications, not the network. Okay? And then we have the security auditor, as I already mentioned, also known as IT auditor. Okay? A compliance analyst, this is a job that is in high demand nowadays because most companies nowadays, they are susceptible to some sort of regulation. Okay? And the regulation means that the organizations that are under those regulations, they must be compliance with those regulations. Okay, so for example, a hospital that is in the healthcare system, right? Well, any hospital is in the healthcare system, but any institution, organization that is part of the healthcare system, they must be HIPAA compliant. Okay, and having a compliance analyst in that hospital is very, very important because he or she understands what are the security measures, what are the procedures, the processes involved in becoming compliant, HIPAA compliant in this case. You also have the identity and access management specialist. This is the person that is focused on preventing, for example, the theft of personally identifiable information. Okay, so this person is responsible for making sure that the credentials that are in place, they guarantee that this person is the person that is actually, for example, using the system. There is not another person that is using someone else's credentials to do something. Okay. And then you have the jobs that are focused more on the cloud, also very trendy nowadays, such as the cloud security engineer and the cybersecurity cloud cybersecurity specialist. Finally, you have the security software developer. Okay, the security software developer is the professional. It's not the same thing as an application security engineer. Okay, the security software developer is not an engineer, that's the developer, but it's a developer that is capable of developing, designing an application with proper security measures. And finally, like I said, in order to be able to execute those roles properly, you can use different certifications as a guide. So for example, if you want to become an IT auditor, right, you can see here that you have the Certified Information Systems Auditor or the CISA certification exam. You can look at their syllabus or outline that will tell you exactly all the topics that you should thoroughly understand to become a CISA specialist or a CISA certified specialist. Okay. Another certification also focused on auditors is the CISP, the Certified Information System Security Professional. Although the CISP exam, it does not specify by the name, right? It does not specify that it is focused on auditors, IT auditors. That's what it actually is. Okay, so if you want to become a cybersecurity auditor, most likely the organization will either require CISA or CISP. Okay, and speaking of which, the CISP exam is the certification that is that is highly demanded by organizations when they want to hire a cybersecurity professional. Okay, so I strongly recommend that you take a look at these certifications here, browse, take a look at what is required in order to pass that specific exam. And just on a side note, you can see here that I listed the CompTIA Security Plus exam specifically, certification exam specifically, but CompTIA is an organization that focuses on cybersecurity, but they have numerous different certifications. Okay, so for example, you can become a CompTIA Security Plus certified. You can be a CompTIA CISA Plus certified. Okay, CISA is the Cybersecurity Systems Administrator. You can also be a CompTIA Pentest Plus. That means that CompTIA, the organization, is saying, hey, this professional here is a pen tester according to our criteria, according to what we understand that a pen tester should be able to do. Okay, and again, they have a bunch of different certifications. Okay, so again, I strongly recommend that you take a look at the specific demands for each of these certifications over here. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you in our next seminar. Bye bye.